You won't hurt my feelings if you say you didn't want me. I just need to understand.
Kathy, it is not that simple. And I really don't think that this is appropriate cocktail conversation.
When is it ever appropriate, Mother? You see, this is how she tries to control the situation. She either slams the door, she changes the subject, she goes on the offensive. I think that's where you learned all those tactics. Blair, Mother's been such a major pro at it.
And you had no idea, Kathy, why you were separated from your mother at birth?
Not a clue. But then again, she's always been very secretive about her own childhood, too.
That is because there isn't very much to tell.
Then what happened to David, Mother? Why did he disappear from the clinic in Austria where he was recuperating? What have you done with him? What terrible things are you trying to hide from me?
You have no right to accuse me of something so horrible in front of everyone.
And you have no right to keep the truth about my family history from me. Tell me the whole story, starting with how you somehow managed to get David out of the clinic in Austria and ending with why he took me away from you when I was an infant. Or you can start back then with whatever it is you feel you need to cover up.
We're having salmon for dinner tonight. It's a very delicate fish, and if we don't sit down and eat soon, it's going to get dry. Helga?
Do you feel that children should be protected from their family history?
No, absolutely not, Mary. No, I just feel that Cassie already knows everything that she needs to know about the subject, so can we now move on to dinner? Helga! You can begin putting the food on the table. We're going to be coming right in.
Did you notice how she changed from the fat to the fish?
The fish may be more to her taste.
It's all avoidance. I'm tired of it.
Kathy, please.
What, Mother, what? Pretend you're not stonewalling me? This is absurd. Well, finally, we agree about something. So, you know what? You can set that all right. You can just tell me what happened to me when I was a baby.
That doesn't seem to be such an unreasonable request.
All right, I will tell you what happened. Your son got this crazy idea in his head, and not to put too fine a point on it, this obsessive fixation, this morbid fixation that Kathy has on the past is all Mel's fault.
We see you.
Alive, you mean?
I think you should use your energy to heal, and then you have to go back to work.
Oh, well, I'll be out of this gauze factory before anyone expects me to be. I mean, nothing heals a man faster than the prospect of having his daughter and his mother and his lover all vying to take care of him while he's sick.
Granted, my son is a world-class pot stirrer, but it sounds to me that there were issues between you and your daughter Kathy long before he ever arrived on the scene.
Au contraire. Kathy and I were getting along perfectly. We were. Until Mel infected her with this crazy notion that I am hiding some sort of deep, dark, dreadful secret from my past.
Point of information. There seems to be so much heat in your denials. Is that, something that Mel is doing, too?
Oh, no.
No?
Actually, I tend to run a bit hot in general. Well, that is for sure. Now, although I don't believe that Mel intentionally has caused this upheaval, you, of all people, should understand that an outsider can never grasp the intricacies of a family's inner dynamics and what meddling can lead to.
Oh, yes. Outsiders can pinch a few nerves.
Yes. Take your family, for instance. I'm sure the inner dynamics are every bit as complex as ours, right?
Of course. But we're now discussing your family.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize we were so conversationally restricted.
Touché. Actually, the dynamic of our family is remarkably Kramer-like, with one major difference from what I've seen so far. The Hayeses always tried to get to the bottom of any issue that was between us. In fact, the thornier the problem, the more we wallowed in it.
Well, we definitely don't do that, do we?
I think it's wonderful that you have been so blessed.
Well, it's a skill, not a gift. I mean, if anyone was shutting out any other person in our family, there was always somebody to push for communication, hard if necessary.
And it was, frequently. It's amazing how ugly communication can get.
Dinner's ready, Mrs. Lord. Thank you. Oh, speaking of communication. Hello?
Greetings from the home of salt-free everything.
Mel. It's Mel. How are you, darling?
I'm better by the minute. What's happening with you?
Well, the girls and I are about to sit down to a lovely little dinner with Mary and Dorothy.
My mother and my daughter are in your house. Right now. For dinner. Oh, my God. When worlds collide.
Ladies, we really should be going into dinner now.
The fast-drying salmon.
You know, it doesn't surprise me that Belle is something less than thrilled with the idea that Dorothy and I are here with you all. He may be in a bit of a panic.
Why is that?
Well, my son's ego is such that he truly believes that any gathering or conversation under the sun is somehow about him.
I don't think that's very funny. It's not true either. Mel is no egomaniac.
Oh, taken from the ego expert.
Please. Mel is the kindest, most generous man I have ever known.
Well, if you discount his ego, you obviously don't know him very well.
Oh, well, not enough that he deserves the kind of crummy treatment he's gotten from you. Kelly, please.
Dinner is still ready.
Don't be shy, Kelly. Just speak right out. I'm just going along with the spirit of the evening.
Well, then, in the spirit of the evening, let me give you the lowdown on my father and me. He was killing himself in D.C. He was drinking nonstop. He was alienating friends and editors alike. He was refusing to listen to anyone, especially us.
Sad, but true.
So I didn't know what to do. I did the only thing I could. I gave him an ultimatum. He could choose alcohol or he could choose me, not both.
And he voted with a martini.
That's right. So I cut him off. Stupid as I was, I cut him off because I thought he could make a competent decision.
Do you hear yourself? He's not a lab rat that lost his way in a maze. He is your father. Kelly, stop it.
I was furious at him.
Well, then maybe you're the one who doesn't know him so well. Because if you understood how terrific Mel is, you couldn't cut him off. You'd have a little compassion.
Is this for real? Is a total stranger telling me that she has a better sense of my own father than I do?
Maybe we ought to eat.
These women have some nerve.
Amen to that, dear.
Now, wait a minute. We're not the ones who are insisting on prying into other people's family business.
Excuse me, but I think there's a vast difference between prying and expressing a healthy but altogether natural curiosity about the women who have become the de facto center of my son's life.
Oh, wait a minute. You're making this sound like this is some kind of Cramer coup d'etat.
Blair's right. There's been no plan.
Yeah.
Your son Mel just slipped into my mother's life.
Stumbled, actually.
Dorian has been absolutely wonderful. You yourself said that you couldn't get him to stop drinking, that he was drinking himself to death.
Well, Dorian gets him to come to Llanview, and she gets him to stop drinking.
At this point, I don't know if he can give up alcohol. What do you mean? He hasn't had a drink in weeks.
Maybe so, but who's to say it's because of you? And who's to say that he's not building up steam before he goes on another bender?
Pardon me. Are you capable of giving him or Dorian any credit at all? Or do you just know everything?
Hi. What's for dinner?
Mel, what are you doing here?
Oh, I was just in the neighborhood. I thought I'd drop by and say hello. Has anybody got a sawbuck for the cabin?